ever since the beginning of time, humanity has had several problems to deal with, some of them being larger than others, whether it being natural disasters or global pandemics. Yet, the biggest problem to the United States is terrorism. Today, we'll be going over this debatable topic. September 9, 2001 was a sad day for the United States. This day is famously known for a series of attacks that went down. These attacks are known as the September 11 attacks. These attacks were executed by the infamous terrorist group Al-Qaeda. There was 4 terrorist attack attempts on this day, the most famous ones being the World Trade Center plane hijacking, which consisted of a hijack suicide attack of crashing planes. Flight 11 and Flight 175 were hijacked and crashed into both of the World Trade Center buildings. There was a total of around 3,000 casualties, with more than 6,000 people injured. This attack was marked as the worst since the Japanese surprise attack December 7, 1941. The other 2 attacks were not as bad as the Twin Towers, but still pretty bad. The third plane was headed for the Pentagon, where a flight from Virginia was hijacked by 5 Al-Qaeda terrorists and led to crash on the Pentagon, killing all 64 people on board, as well as the 125 people that were at the Pentagon. A 4th flight, United Airlines Flight 93, under the control of 4 hijackers, crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, southeast of Pittsburgh, at 10:03 a.m. After the passengers fought the hijackers, Flight 93's target is believed to have been either the Capitol or the White House. Flight 93's cockpit voice recorder revealed crew messages, and passengers tried to seize control of the plane from the hijackers after learning through phone calls that flights 11, 77, and 175 had been crashed into buildings that morning. Once it became evident to the hijackers that the passengers might regain control of the plane, the hijackers rolled the plane and intentionally crashed it.
Thank you, Christian. Interesting stuff about 9/11 I learned there. So, Al-Qaeda means the base, the foundation, or the fundament. As many of you may know, Al-Qaeda was founded by Osama bin Laden, and maybe some of you guys don't know, Abdullah Azzam, and a lot of other Arab volunteers who fought against the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in the 1980s. It is basically a network made up of Islamic extremists, Salafist jihadists. It has been defined as a terrorist group by the United Nations Security Council, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, the EU, the US, Russia, India, and many other countries. The Al-Qaeda has attacked civilian and military targets in lots of countries, including the 1998 US Embassy bombings, the 9/11 attacks, as Christian just talked about, and the 2002 Bali bombings. The Al-Qaeda started the war on terror by striking the US with the destruction of the World Trade Center. This is basically how the whole world, or war on terror, has began in the past few years. So those are just a few interesting facts about Al-Qaeda.
Ever since the Paris bombing attacks, the infamous terrorist group, ISIS, has gotten so much media attention and worldwide attention. Even though ISIS was founded in 1999, it has only been brought to us recently that they might be a potential threat to the United States. Ever since the Paris attacks and the Brussels suicide bombings, they have proven what they are capable of and have threatened many countries.
The founder, Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, created ISIS with the intent to commit jihad against infidels. These 2 words are strange to most Americans, but with some research I found out that basically these 2 words combined mean to attempt to spread the religion to all of the world. And as said in the ISIS acronym, they want to spread the Islamic State.
Now, the largest problem with ISIS is the way they want to spread it, which brings us to our other word, infidels. ISIS will stop at nothing to remove all infidels. Infidels are people who do not have the religion you have, or not have a religion at all. Basically, atheists. Therefore, ISIS will kill to eliminate all infidels from this world.
The second biggest problem with ISIS is that they are growing in numbers and large. The total estimate of all ISIS fighters is seen to be around 100,000 maybe more. This, along with the affordable weaponry they use, means they are truly ready for this war. And the best way we can stop them is by stopping people from joining, because the more people that get recruited to the group means more power to it. The Paris attacks are a series of coordinated terrorist attacks on the evening of Friday 13th, November 2015, starting at 21:20 CET, Central European Time. The beginning of it all started when 3 suicide bombers struck near the Stade de France, National Stadium of France, followed by suicide bombings and mass shootings at cafes, restaurants, and a music venue in central Paris. The attackers killed 130 people, another 368 people were injured, and about 80 to 89 were seriously harmed. These attacks were the deadliest on France since World War II, and the deadliest in the EU since the Madrid train bombings in 2004. The Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, ISIL, or ISIS, claimed to plan these brutal attacks, saying it was retaliation for the French airstrikes that were made to try and help defend against terrorist groups such as ISIS and other targets. An interesting story here is also that a man wearing a suicide belt was reportedly prevented from entering the Stade de France after a routine security check detected the explosives. According to the Wall Street Journal, the man backed away from the security guards and detonated the explosives. The bomber and a passerby were killed.
Ending the tragedies.
Finally, ending the tragedies at 58 CET AM, basically. The Paris attack is another strong reason to encourage fighting terrorism, as the example alone claimed hundreds of lives.
Another attack that has been planned recently by ISIS is the Brussels attack in Belgium. The story is that there were 2 explosions in the International Departure Hall at Brussels Airport in Zaventem at 7:58 local time. One near the British and Iberia check-in desks, and the other between a Starbucks coffee shop and the Brussels Airlines check-in desks. The explosion shattered windows and significant damage occurred inside the building. It was reported that shots were fired, and an airport worker said he heard someone yelling "Allah Akbar!" in Arabic before the blasts. A third bomb was found in a search of the airport and was later destroyed by a controlled explosion. Belgium's federal prosecutor confirmed that the suicide bombers had detonated nail bombs. After the attack, the Belgian government put the country on its highest terror threat level. The airport was closed and flight departures and rail journeys to the airport were cancelled. The airport was to remain closed until the 24th of March, but this was eventually extended to the 28th of March. All inbound flights were either cancelled or diverted to nearby airports, including Charleroi, Austin Bruges, and Schiphol. Another explosion took place just over an hour later in the middle carriage of a 3-carriage train at Maalbeek metro station, located near the European Commission headquarters in the center of Brussels, 10 kilometers away from the Brussels airport. The explosion occurred at 9:11 Center Eastern Time. The train was traveling on Line 5 towards the center and was pulling out of the Maalbeek station when the bomb exploded. The driver immediately stopped the train and helped to evacuate the passengers. The Brussels metro was subsequently shut down at 9:27 Central European Time.
A stronghold of forces loyal to captured dictator Saddam Hussein, the city of Tikrit, here in northern Iraq, is now firmly under the control of American forces. Or is it? These members of the Iraqi resistance movement, still loyal to Saddam Hussein, think otherwise.
The Americans tell lies. Each day our forces grow stronger. Each day we move closer to our goal of driving the infidel... What are they?
Nothing, carry on.
Driving the infidels from our motherland. We are not afraid to... Are they subtitles? They are, aren't they?
No.
What do I need subtitles for? Can't you understand what I'm saying? I studied English at the bloody American University in Cairo.
Well, obviously I can understand what you're saying.
Oh, do you see how they condescend to us with their subtitles?
Oh, maybe it's teletext, for the hearing impaired.
Teletext.
No, a lot of TVs come with teletext nowadays.
Oh, wait, say something again.
My friend has an 80 cent.
Hey, how come he doesn't need subtitles?
Obviously he's comprehensible.
No, I'm not! Look, if I speak perfect English, she sells seashells by the seashore. Richard Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Round the ragged rocks, the dog!
The situation remains as dangerous and volatile as ever here in northern Iraq. While the rebuilding continues...
What? I can't understand you speak English!